Hello, this is Catherine Marie, and you're listening to the Long COVID Real Talk podcast. We have a special guest today. We have Laurie back. She originally was with us talking about the neurological study that she was in. And I don't know if you picked up on this, but the end of the interview was cut off. So I wanted to have her back to make sure that we got all of the take-home pearls of wisdom that she had said that got cut off, and then explore some other topics. So, Laurie, thank you for coming back.
You for having me.
So, just starting where we left off before, if you were just diagnosed with long COVID, what do you wish that someone would have said to you, like right then?
Rest.
That's a good one.
Rest.
Totally. Yeah.
And more rest. And make sure that you're eating properly and drinking lots of water.
Right. That's good. That's good. Okay. And then, are there any pearls that you've come across or any take-home points that you wanted to make sure that people get from this episode?
Try to have a positive attitude to get through the day. That's not always easy, so sometimes you just have to make it up. And listen to the people who know you the best.
Yeah, because they know your baseline.
Exactly. So if I go into work and I'm not having a good day, my girls will look at me and say, "You are fired for the day. Go home."
That's good to have that support system.
It is. It's very important to have people that know you before and during.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially because there have been so many that have come and gone. I guess like some of the friendships have gotten stronger, some of them have gone away. But in a way, the friends that I have now are stronger than before COVID because it was more like, let's just go have fun. And now it's like real life stuff.
It's real life stuff, and it's so humbling and so overwhelming to really see the different people that are sticking with you by your side and are really there to help because they love you and adore you.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you feel like you don't have much to give back.
Yes. Yes. Those are the people you want around.
Yeah.
When you're in a flare up, and it's like when I'm in a flare up and my dogs come and lay by my side,
Mm-hmm.
that's just unconditional love. And if I were to ask friends to just come and do that, they would do that.
Would they come and not talk? Because I
You
would
know,
have such a hard time talking.
oh, yeah, some of them would.
It's so exhausting to have conversations sometimes.
Sometimes you just want somebody there for no other reason than just to be there and not be alone.
Yeah. So is that one of your main things that you do during flare-ups? Like, do you have any advice on how to get through flare-ups or what works for you?
I listened to your previous podcast and I cry a lot and I sleep a lot.
Yeah. It's I know we were talking about this earlier before we started recording, but it's just like during those times when sometimes that's when I feel like I want to do an episode because it's like I want to document how bad this sucks.
But just can't find the energy or the words. It is
Yeah. Yeah. But usually I'll listen to the Long COVID MD podcast because Dr. Zeus Khan's like my long COVID buddy that when I'm in my bad place, it helps get me through. It's really hard. I love like Law and Order and crime dramas and stuff, and sometimes I can listen to them on my phone
Yes.
without or look at them and read the subtitles, but not both, you know? Um, or yeah, or I just cry and I just keep telling myself it's not going to be like this forever. But it's really hard in that space when you can't do anything and there's nothing to help you pass the time and you just feel horrible.
That's also the time where I listen to music. I
Which kind of music do you find helpful?
I grew up on James Taylor,
Mm.
and he has always been my favorite, and he's just mellow, and I tend to listen to him on Pandora,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then other musicians like him come up too,
Right.
and it just calms me down and makes me cry, which then makes me go to sleep.
Right. Right. Meeting you has been very interesting to me because I look at like now we're Facebook friends and everything, and I look at what your life was like pre-COVID, just the pictures and stuff,
Mhm.
and it's so clear to me the level of activity that you had pre-COVID, just extremely, and it made me. It's like it repeatedly has um reminded me that I think a lot of the people that get long COVID previously were very active people, which is why it's so devastating to these same people to all of a sudden not be able to do anything when they're used to being the life of the party and running around everywhere and, being the one making all the plans.
It's very devastating, and this is interesting because, um, I don't go out after work very often,
Hmm.
because I'm just too tired, and so yesterday when I got home from work, I rested for an hour, and I knew it wasn't enough, but I have dishes in the sink, and I've got a dishwasher to empty, and I thought, "Oh, I
Hmm.
can do that," and it took me a half hour to talk myself out of that because I knew I needed the rest,
Hmm.
but my brain said, "Oh, no, come on, we got stuff to do, let's do it." My body, like, "Yeah, that's not happening."
So how do you help your body to win then so that you get to rest? Because I struggle with the same thing.
My mind takes over and acts as a mother and says,
Mm,
"What? You have to rest and you have to do nothing if you want tomorrow to go better and if you want to do an activity after work.
mm,
You have to rest. You have to rest." So everything it has to be planned. And there's just it's hard to sit and rest and do nothing. Even just throwing the ball for the dogs a couple times will be enough activity to wear my body out.
hmm. And then you can fall asleep and you don't have to be conscious.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Sometimes it's an hourly struggle for me, sometimes it's a daily struggle to really realize that I'm not even doing a 16th of what I used to do,
Yeah.
you know?
So how are you starting to try to be okay with the post-COVID life?
I'm I'm trying to repeat one of my favorite mantras. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. And how lucky I was to live that life. And now I just have to make adjustments and try really hard to look at okay, look at what you still can do. Unfortunately, there's still so many people out there who are stuck in bed for months.
Right.
And how fortunate I am that sometimes it's only a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to forget your pre-COVID life and move on to your post-COVID.
Yeah. It's yeah, my I know I mentioned this already, but yesterday one of my sisters is visiting and she went to the beach with my husband and daughter and I couldn't go because I was in bed. And it was just really, she was sending me pictures and little videos and stuff like that of them chasing each other at the beach and the sunset and all that stuff. And it was just like, it's just really, you
This
know,
it it really does. It really does. It's hard to move on, but as human beings, that's what we're designed to do, is to move on. And so I try and find itty bitty things to make me happy. Having a pot of coffee in the morning and being able to watch the sunrise
yeah.
is, I'm thankful that I'm able to do that. I'm thankful sometimes that I could walk my dogs for 10 minutes.
Hmm.
But long COVID, so many people that don't have long COVID don't realize the mental game that it,
Definitely.
and sometimes the brain wins. Most often it doesn't, but it's always a struggle.
Hmm.
But to find little things in a day. Like the other day, I cut an onion and I started crying because that was the first time I've smelt an onion in 2 years.
Oh, that's great.
It was one smell and then it went away, but you know what? I have to look at that as some sort of victory.
Hmm.
It is, it's really hard living with a chronic disease. I never knew how difficult it was.
Me neither. I think that it will be like having HIV or AIDS. Like, hopefully someday they'll have medication, we'll be on antivirals or something so that we can live a relatively normal life. But I feel like we're really far from that right now.
I I do too. I really feel that we're 10 to 15 years out
Mm.
because it's so new and because there are so many different symptoms.
So, yeah, there's no one particular course of the disease that people present so differently. So many different constellations of symptoms.
It's hard, but someday you're right. They'll come up with something. And so that's kind of the part that I hang on to for a positive feeling.
Yeah. So part of the mental game, we were talking about this a little earlier, was just the keeping your peace, to be more protective of your own space and your mental peace because you have so much going on in your life that you don't have the energy to waste on drama, toxic people, that sort of thing.
Ex- ex- exactly. We all have such a finite amount of energy for it.
Mhm.
And so to have feelings of anxiousness or uncomfortableness, or I have to put in so much energy to make this work, those are no longer useful anymore. They're more detrimental.
Yeah.
And we have to honor ourselves, and we have to believe in ourselves that this truly is real, whether other people believe it or not. It's our
Mhm.
ability. And deep down inside, we know when we have to rest, and we know when things are too much. And so you have to protect yourself. And if it's too much, then you have to let go of it.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people with long COVID used to be extremely active. Um, I think that we have to almost forcibly rein ourselves in for our own self protection. But just doing that is really hard because we are so used to helping everybody and, doing all the things and being with all the people. So just it's been really hard lately just realizing areas of my life where people are bringing me stress and then realizing that I need to not associate with them very much anymore or minimally just to protect my own mental health because it
Yeah.
feels fragile now.
It it's so fragile now. And I think the thing that has helped me is to really sit down and realize that, okay, this is going to be 2 years next month.
Mm.
And things really have not hugely changed. So this is a new reality. And and I guess I force myself to live in the new reality, which then makes me honor myself and my own feelings.
Mhm.
Um, and having an incredible non-judgmental support group. I have friends that will say, "No, you need to go home. You're not looking right."
Mhm.
I have friends that say, "Eh, why are you even wanting to try to meet us for dinner? Don't do it. Go home and rest, and we could regroup on a different day."
Yeah. Those sound like good friends.
I couldn't do it without them, for sure.
Something that has helped me with accepting my own limitations, like my current limitations, is watching my little sister who has long COVID. I'll go over to visit her, and she's the sister that lives 5 minutes away or 7 minutes away. And I'll notice, we'll be talking on the couch, and all of a sudden she'll kind of start to slump a little bit or lean her head back against the couch. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like that too. But she doesn't know she's doing it. And it just makes me realize, oh, this is a legit thing. This is not just me being a wimp. This is real. And
It
it's hard to sit up after a while, I don't know. And I'm always so much more protective of my younger siblings than I am of myself. So if I think of myself like I think of my younger sister with long COVID, I usually have a better way of dealing with myself if I think of myself in the same way.
good for you. You and you know what's this sounds ridiculous, but I'm glad for you and your sister
I
that
know.
you both have long COVID
I
together.
know.
And
Right.
I know nobody
Yeah.
that has this.
Mhm.
And so that piece of it goes, okay, are you really crazy? Is this
Right.
really true?
Right. Yeah. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would even have put it all together yet. Because, like, I watched her for, I wanna say it was 8 months, something like that, before I got COVID, and just watching her struggle, and she's also younger 7 years younger than me, so watching someone younger than me who does not have a small child was really, really eye-opening because it made me realize how severe the symptoms are for everybody, not just me, not just because 'cause I'm tired because I have a little kid.
Ex
So,
exactly, it does, it that would make you feel much better, I agree.
yeah. But we both say that a lot, that we hate to say it because we don't want the other person to have the experience, but it's really nice to have one person that, your sibling that's genetically so similar to you, and we have a lot of the same symptoms. I got a rash around my mouth the other day and the back of my neck. And she had a horrible, horrible rashes. Her nails were falling off, she had blisters all over. It was just insane. And mine were not that bad, but she went and saw a dermatologist, and so she knew exactly right away, "Oh, you need this medicine and blah, blah, blah." So it was really helpful for me when I ended up having the rash because she already knew what to do. But it was just like, I just felt, I felt so bad for her. Um, because we have a lot of the same symptoms, but sometimes one of us will have worse in one area or something. So,
Right, exactly.
but her nails have grown back. So,
Oh, it's amazing, it's amazing how different all the different symptoms
hmm
act in different people.
hmm and what things they are able to and what things they aren't able to do.
Yeah, you just have to try and have a positive attitude, and that's not always the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not.
But always, always, always protect your peace,
Yeah,
your inner self, because you have to live with you 24/7 and you know what's really happening.
yeah. This week I caught myself. My husband said, "Oh, you must be feeling better because I started working on this project to help somebody." And then I crashed because I had just spent so much energy and focus on trying to help this person. And then I realized I can't do that anymore. Like, I used to be able to just whip something up and be able to, I don't know. I I look back now and wonder how I was able to do it all, but it just I can't do it anymore. And it's so weird, but um I keep like falling into that trap of trying to be who I was and then falling on my face and then being like, "Oh, that's right. I'm not that person anymore." And it's hard, but I do think that over time, like, I think that I'm better now than I was when I was working, and I'm better now than I was last winter, but I also don't know what portion of that was because I was working full time at the time, or because now I'm on Abilify and low-dose naltrexone, or just different things that I've been trying. I don't know what's helping and what's not helping. So, um, I think overall I'm getting better, I think, but then I'll have days where I'm just as bad as I ever was, and it's just so, like, frustrating.
It's hugely frustrating. I do the exact opposite that you do. I'm so afraid to do too much and to end up in a week-long flare-up
Mhm.
that I try and not do as much as I really want to.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's
So terrified of a flare-up.
yeah. Hmm. That's hard because sometimes you're gonna flare up anyway, regardless of what you do. But then if you do something and then flare up, then you're gonna think that you caused the flare up. So it's really hard to to navigate that. It's
Again,
pretty
are
pretty much impossible.
pretty much the mental game of it.
Yeah, and then you have the self-blame and thinking that you caused it yourself, and or are you imagining it, or is it really as bad as it feels, and like all of this mind game stuff that happens with long COVID. It's like it just adds this whole other dimension of awfulness when you have a flare up.
It truly does. So you help us all through that with all of your previous podcasts and what to do when you're in a flare up and
Oh yeah.
not to make it a mental game.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
It helps me too. I listen to listen to my own because I forget, because then I'm in bed myself and I'm like, oh, I'm just like everybody else.
Ex-
Uh, it's like writing a letter to yourself when you're feeling healthy, like for you to read when you're sick, like a pep talk, you know?
You know what? What a great analogy that is, because that is very true. Because you're searching for something good in the midst of something that's so detrimental.
Yeah. And just to minimize the feeling of it lasting forever and being permanent versus the possibility of it not being permanent. And the flare-ups are not permanent. They come and go. It's hard to say whether it's really permanent or not, but at least the flare-ups are not
Thank
permanent. Between
I know you need to you at some point you need to touch reality. So thankfully the flare ups are not actually long.
Mhm.
And promise me that you will honor yourself.
I will. I will. I will. I will do it.
It's a hard thing and it is definitely a learned behavior
Yeah.
and it's not being selfish. It is not being selfish. It's really true what the airline attendants say.
Oh,
You have
math.
to put on your own mask first before you could help anybody else.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. That's a good one. I think I think that's the perfect way to end.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hmm.
Thank you for your
Um,
friendship.
oh yeah, you too. It's nice to not feel alone.
100%.
Um, yeah, to not feel like I'm just like in my own corner of the world by myself going through all of this insanity. But well, thank you for coming today and making a little episode for everybody. And um, if you liked the episode, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff so that it can reach more people. And I think that's it for now. So thanks very much, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay, bye.